So one of the things you definitely have to consider before you start even thinking about what your mat is going to look like for matting multiple pieces within one mat is how you're going to arrange the pieces together. And so when you're arranging them, you want to think about how each piece interacts with the next and how they interact with each other as a whole. So what I did was I laid out the pieces that I'm going to be matting together for this demonstration, and I wanted to talk about how I arranged them. And so what I looked for was imagery that was kind of leaning in towards the frame. And so in here, this portrait, this person is leaning kind of in towards this way. In this one, the child is looking at this direction. These are kind of more like centered pieces where both of the subjects are looking at the camera. And then this has kind of a nice diagonal element going into the frame. And so the pieces on the sides, if they're angling in or have some sort of visual element that's leaning in to the center ones, that tends to help to create a movement that stays within the artwork as opposed to like leading out of the frame. So that's something to consider. And then I had an even number. What I ended up doing was I did a row of 3 here, and then I did a row of 3 below it. Now all of my artworks are around the same size, so that made it easy for me to arrange them. If you have artworks of different sizes, then that's something that you might have to play around with. But the thing that I would recommend doing is grabbing the mat board that you are planning on using. And just a reminder, there's white mat board in the classroom. There's smaller pieces of mat board in the drawers at the back of the classroom. I don't know that you'll end up using those for when you're matting multiple pieces together. You'll probably need bigger sheets of mat board. There's colored mat board upstairs. If you're ever looking to use colored mat board, you always want to take the artwork with you upstairs to compare to the colored mat board. But I would kind of lay the pieces out on the mat board that you're planning to use, so that way you can start to see how spatially they'll interact within the space of the mat board. In the next video, I'm going to talk to you about figuring out spacing, and then I'll also demonstrate how to do a sketch to make sure that you get your measuring correct. Okay.